Lead. It's a toxic element that can be found in pipes and water infrastructure. It also recently made national headlines in Flint, Michigan. But instead of implementing actual solutions, local and federal politicos passed the blame, and still, to this day, this neurotoxin is piped into Flint homes where it can cause profound and permanent adverse health effects to the brain and nervous system of children. This drinking water crisis is not just isolated to Flint, Michigan. Last week, KERAnews.com posted the headline, "Flint-like levels of lead detected in water at 3 Texas centers for the disabled." Officials at the Brenham, Texas facility are now distributing bottled water to residents and employees. But the Texas Department of State Health Services and DADS, the Texas Department of Aging and Disability Services, want people to be screened for negative long-term effects of exposure, reported the Texas Standard. The Dallas Morning News also reports that hundreds of disabled Texans living at 3 state-supported living centers have been drinking water that contains toxic amounts of lead, rivaling those found in the water system in Flint, Michigan. The article continues. The EPA requires water systems to take steps to reduce lead levels if 10% of the samples taken exceed 15 parts per billion of lead. Each of the 3 affected Texas facilities collected samples that contained over 104 parts per billion. The highest was 266. Dennis Borrell, head of the Coalition of Texans with Disabilities, told the Texas Standard last week that these facilities have a population of children as well.
15 times the maximum EPA level of lead was found in the drinking water at Brenham State Supported Living Center, where some people have lived for decades. And apparently there are still a population of children also living there too.
As disturbing as these findings are, elevated lead levels have been found in the general population's drinking water systems as well. This means lead in the water is not only confined to disability services facilities. In January 2016, KXAN News reported a KXAN analysis of Texas Commission on Environmental Quality data found more than 15 local water suppliers with individual test results that show lead levels exceeding 15 parts per billion since 2005. Findings like these are not limited to Texas or Michigan. USA Today recently released an article entitled "Beyond Flint: Excessive Lead Levels Found in Almost 2,000 Water Systems Across All 50 States." The article warns many of the highest reported lead levels were found at schools and daycares. A water sample at a Maine elementary school was 42 times higher than the EPA limit of 15 parts per billion, while a Pennsylvania preschool was 14 times higher, records show. At an elementary school in Ithaca, New York, one sample tested this year at a stunning 5,000 parts per million of lead, the EPA's threshold for hazardous waste. So while lead in the local Flint, Michigan water supply was a national story, lead in the national water supply is being reduced to nothing more than a few local stories around the country. According to Healthline.com, lead is a highly toxic metal and a very strong poison. Lead poisoning usually occurs over a period of months or years. The poisoning can cause severe mental and physical impairment. Young children are the most vulnerable to lead poisoning. Based on these results, it is safe to say that the best option for everybody is to filter all of the water you and your family will consume, whether that means drinking, cooking, or bathing. Don't depend on your local water utilities to provide you with clean and pure drinking water. Install a high-end water filtration system in your home.
By clicking the link below, you will learn more about the company that has set the industry standard for healthy water. You'll also learn how you can improve both your health and your wealth at the same time.
We have several options, all of which reduce lead levels in the water you and your family consume. Lead is a serious health problem, and the public is not being warned about it. As more investigations are being conducted, the more it becomes clear that the entire nation, especially our children, are at serious risk of exposure.